So challenge groups are the backbone of your business. But let me back up even more because some of you are brand new probably, and you're like, what the heck is a challenge group? And I want you to know you don't need to stress out about it, first of all. Your challenge group is a place where you get your clients to gather so you can encourage them in their health and fitness journey. And so you can be encouraged too. Okay. And you should enjoy the way you do it. So I'm going to give you like a minute to just think honestly about your current group. And I want you to just reflect, like, are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you looking forward to creating the content for your group? Are you looking forward to checking in? Are you checking in? Do you have people checking in? Just overall, give yourself a few minutes to just reflect on your challenge group. And when you have something, drop it in the chat of how you're feeling about your group right now. Okay, I'm seeing a few responses come in. You can keep thinking about that. I just think it's a good starting place for this call for you to take something away from it. If you are loving your group right now, that's incredible. If you are in a spot where you're like, I don't even have a group right now, that's incredible. You're going to take something away from this. If you're in a spot where you're like, I'm running a group, but there's really no life in it, great. I'm so glad you're here because hopefully you'll take away something tangible and you can bring life to your group. But I also want you to know it takes time and it takes effort and it takes planning, and that's okay too. Like Shelby and I have been running groups together for 18 months now, and we feel like it's taken a lot of time to get our group in a place where we really, really love it. But I think it is so incredibly important for you to be excited about your group, because if you're not, it is impossible to invite to it in a way that is effective. Like imagine that you are planning something at your house, like a party for people to come to, and you're like, this party is stupid. Nobody's going to be engaged. Nobody ever comes to my party, but I'm going to invite anyway. Like it'd be really hard to send out invites to your party because you wouldn't even be excited about what you're inviting to. Okay? So, whenever you're planning your group, and I think it's actually a really good time to be talking about it because we're at the end of the month and most of us start our groups a couple weeks into the month. I know that Body Blocks have kind of changed that around. And if you're starting tomorrow, this can apply to your next group. But a couple questions for you. And I want you right now to literally try to dump out everything you know about groups, like get it out of your mind and try to start fresh. Okay. If what you're doing is working currently, that's great. You can keep doing that. But also, you always have to be open to the fact that your group might need to change at some point. It will need to change at some point. That, like, I've just learned that as a coach, we are always changing, we are always evolving. So get out of your mind that it has to be a bod group. Get out of your mind that it has to be a Facebook group. Your group can be whatever you want it to be. So my question is, what type of group and where would you host it? And how would that excite you? Does a Facebook group make you excited? If the answer is no, you shouldn't host it there. Does a bod group excite you? Would you be excited to create it on bod groups and invite people into a bod group? Would you be excited to have a text group? Would you be excited to have an in-person group? Would you be excited to have a Zoom group or a Marco Polo group? or a group me group. Like, where could you get people together, either virtually or in person, and pour into them and have them check in and genuinely enjoy it? It does not matter what anybody else does. And I'll give you a really good example of this. A couple years ago, when Beachbody made the switch to bod groups, I felt like a loner because I tried it and I didn't like it. But I knew that I had to do what was best for me, what brought me excitement, and not just do what everybody else was doing. Otherwise, I knew that my group would tank. So I kept going with Facebook, and I have never taken my groups off of Facebook because I genuinely love running them on Facebook. So I'm not changing anytime soon. So, where would you be excited to host your group? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. And if you're doing something you love right now, hosting it somewhere unique, or really even just Facebook or bod groups, post it in the chat there and tell us where you host your groups right now. Okay, next thing, after you decide where you want to host your group, is you need to ask yourself, what do you need? I talk to people all the time, and they're trying to figure out what the customers need, what the people on their Instagram need, especially newer coaches. Actually, really everybody. I feel like I have this conversation frequently where the person trying to start the group is trying to figure out what the people want. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you will never do that successfully. The right way to plan your group is to ask yourself, what do you need right now? Every single time you plan your group, ask yourself, what do I need right now to thrive in my own health journey? That is going to be the driving force in your groups, because you are going to be passionate, excited, and ready to go if it is something that you need. So ask yourself right now, what program, and again, if you've already planned your next month, maybe you can plan out an extra month, or maybe you're somewhere right now where you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing next month, then this is exactly for you. What program or body block would you love to do right now? Or what are you struggling with right now? And which program would help you overcome? What challenge do you want to take on right now? What does your body need right now? What is it craving right now? Have you been doing the same types of programs over and over and over again? And maybe you need to switch from heavy lifting to dancing. Or maybe you've been taking it easy on yourself and you've been doing more of like dancing and like not really challenging yourself. Do you need to do something like the work or the prep or 80-day obsession? Like, where are you in your journey? What do you need for your health? And how can you plan your group around that? Maybe it's not even a workout group. Maybe you're going to plan a group for nutrition. Maybe that's where you've really been struggling. And maybe your entire group needs to be something focused on food. The second part of that is asking yourself what kind of content you need. And this is where I want you to not freak out, okay? So Shelby and I actually talk and brainstorm a lot about our content, but we are years into this coaching thing, so we spend time doing that. If you are brand new, you need to know that you're not an expert yet, and that's okay. And your content can come directly from Body. You can use the blogs, you can use the challenge group guides. Like, you don't need to freak out about content. Like, the only thing you really need your group to do is it to be a place where people check in with their workouts and you encourage them. If you want to skip the content piece completely because it's overwhelming, that is completely okay. Okay, but let me give you an example from what we're doing right now. Shelby and I love to do faith and fitness groups, and we actually promoted this last group more with our content than we did with a program. We talked over and over and over again about how we're running a faith and fitness group, and the content that we're providing is all around combining faith and fitness. Okay. Maybe you want to run a group and your content is something about being postpartum. Maybe you want to run a group and your content is all about sleep. Maybe you want to run a group and your content is all about nutrition. Whatever it is, it just needs to be something that you're passionate about. And when I say we post content, we post like maybe 2 pieces of content a week. And content can be quotes. Content can be podcasts that you found. Like with this last group that actually we're in it right now. Part of our content is I found 5-minute podcasts to post every single Monday morning. And we're asking the girls to listen to that. The other content we posted is a list of affirmations rooted in faith that they're putting on their mirrors with sticky notes every single day. Like that is valuable content. It doesn't have to be anything mind-blowing. It doesn't have to be anything that takes tons of time. It just needs to be things related to the thing that your group is all about. Okay? And then the last thing I want you to ask yourself is, what habits do you need right now? And how can you maybe put that into your group? And again, if you are brand new, you don't really need to worry about all the extras. You need to worry about helping them use the resources that they got with the fitness programs and with the nutrition. Okay, you don't have to have all this extra contents and habits and all this stuff. But this stuff excites me. This is how I set my groups apart. And it's really exciting for me to think about these things. Okay, so I've seen people do like habit trackers. I feel like Caitlin Miller is pretty much the queen of this, but maybe you want to help people have the habit of a nighttime routine. And maybe some of the content or habits that you're helping them with is you make a tracker about having a nightly routine and they check in with that. Or maybe you want to work on the habit of drinking more water and you have a water challenge in your group for the week. Or maybe the habit you want to work on is no snooze. And maybe you can plan an entire group around women and men who don't want to press snooze anymore in the morning. Maybe you want to help them work on the habit of doing personal development. And maybe you read a book together, or maybe you challenge them to listen to 5 minutes of PD, or maybe you challenge them to take a 10-minute walk every day on top of their workout, or maybe you do some form of 75 hard in your group. I don't know, you can literally do anything. And although you don't have to do the content and habits part whenever you're planning your challenge group, I really think this part is the thing that makes Shelby and I's groups really powerful. We take a long time talking about and planning what our next group is going to be. So we are so excited about what we're doing that it's oozing out of us in the content we create and the invites we send. Because I have to have an extremely clear picture about what I'm going to offer if I'm going to invite somebody to it. And actually, it's very frequent that Shelby and I are like, hey, we need to talk about our group because I don't feel clear about it. And I don't really feel like I can talk about it. We just did that this past week. We knew that we wanted to do the T25 block in May, but we're like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we doing? What's our group going to be all about? So last week we sat together and we decided that we wanted to just make it based off of fun. I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. We just want to have fun this month, and all of our content, everything we talk about is going to be based around that, both in the group and what we're putting out on our social media. So if you would go back and you would look at my social media and Shelby's too from last month, everything I was putting out was about faith and fitness. You're going to see a shift this month for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be adding in a lot more fun because that's what the next group is about. So the content you're putting out really should match the group that you are about to do. It's really easy to do that when you're excited about the group too. Okay. So I'm going to pause right there because that's the portion about planning for your challenge group and having an idea of where you're going. And then I'm going to move into invites. So do you have any questions at this point? Okay. So, like I said, I really cannot tell you the importance of having a plan before you go invite. Because if you're not excited about the program you're about to do, you're not going to be looking forward to inviting. If you love your group and if you love checking in with your own group and you love the community you're building, it truly is so easy to invite because you're enjoying it. So I am begging you right now, if you are in a spot where you're not running a group of any sort or you're not enjoying it, fix that immediately. Okay. Because you actually literally cannot invite effectively otherwise. So let's chat about inviting. This is the scariest portion for most people when they start something like this. And honestly, well, we'll get to this in a second, but talking to people you know in real life, I feel like is one of the hardest things for people. And I think it's just a limiting belief. It doesn't have to be scary and you don't have to be weird. Okay. I literally wrote that down. Invite, but don't be a weirdo. It's okay if people say no. You don't have to send them 14 paragraphs or pretend that you're catching up with them before you invite. Okay. So when you invite, the first thing is it needs to be really simple. What I always tell people is, how would you ask somebody to go see a movie with you or go to a coffee shop with you or come over to your house for anything, for a barbecue? What would you say to them? Literally, if you need to write that down, write it down. You would probably say something like, hey, I want to go watch this movie Friday night. It starts at 7. Do you want to come with me? I'm not joking. That is how my invites sound every single month. I don't do anything crazy. I say, hey, I'm starting. I'll put some sort of detail about my group, whether it's about the program I'm about to do or the content that we're going to be creating. Okay. So this time it's going to be something like, hey, I'm starting a new workout program on the 8th. It's only 25 minutes long and our focus is just going to be fun as we work out. Would you want to do it with me? Literally, my invite is some form of that every single month. Every single invite, every single day. I change up my wording a little bit based off of what I'm inviting from, but I don't get fancy with it. I invite them to my group the same exact way I would invite a friend to come have coffee with me. Don't overthink it and don't make it long and weird. It doesn't have to be, okay? If you find that you're unsure of where to invite, I have a few suggestions for you, okay? First one relates back to the conversation we just had. If you are in a place where you're like, I literally have nobody, you need to create some content. So you need to sit with your thoughts and think about, what am I about to do? What can I put out there that relates to this group so I can invite people to do it? Okay. So start with a heavy content day, both on your story and on, like, make a post about what you're about to do. There are so many things I could say about creating content, but honestly, that is a call for a different day. But you need to be in your stories talking about what you're about to do and make sure that you're making it engaging, tell stories, say why you want to do this program, why you're doing this content, and ask people to do it with you, literally in your stories, and putting ways for them to engage, whether it's question boxes or polls or swipe things. Make your whole day about creating content. You could also put out a reel. You could also put out a static post where you just write something with a picture. And then the following day, you have something to invite from. You have all of these stories that you created that people probably engaged with, and at the very least, they watched it. And then you also have a post to go to that hopefully you put a lot of thought into, that people maybe commented on, maybe liked, and you can invite from that as well. And then you repeat that. Okay. I don't do heavy content and heavy inviting days every single day. So, for example, tomorrow for me is solely focused on content because I really haven't said much about my group in May. So tomorrow, if you want to see an example, I will probably be writing a post. I might even write my post tonight actually and get it out. And then I'll have something to invite from Tuesday. So you'll see a static post on my feed about having fun with fitness. And then you will also see me tomorrow talking about in my stories having fun with workouts and why that's been transformational for me. Then Tuesday, when I go sit down to work, because that's when I have my babysitter, I will spend all of my time connecting with people who engaged with my story, who swiped, who voted, who watched, and people who liked the post that I'm going to put out tonight as well. Tuesday, I will connect with all of those people. Okay. And then I do that on repeat. Heavy content, heavy invite, heavy content, heavy invite until I meet my goal in the month. Okay. Second thing I wanted to mention is follow-ups. I have a system that I'm using this year, which I've shared with you about. I have a form, and when I get into conversations with people, I send my form. And then, like Tuesday, when I go out to work, every time I sit down to work, I look at the form. And I have people who I've sent cards to who haven't checked out. I have people who I've had a conversation with that it never led to a share cart, and I use that form to do my follow-ups when I'm inviting for my next month. So there, I have lots of people to go back to every single month. And then the last thing I really wanted to mention with inviting is people you know are really great people to invite. I know it's scary, you guys. I think that's probably the hardest thing for most of us because we really don't want people to turn us down. But I guarantee you, you have people in your life who need what we have to offer. I don't know if you follow Jenna Kutcher. Does anybody here follow Jenna Kutcher? Nobody really? She's a really big influencer and she's recently lost a lot of weight. She kind of built her brand. Actually, I think she went viral because of her weight, because she is married to a very fit looking man, and she's not even like, I mean, she wasn't that large of a woman, but she definitely is a different shape than her husband. And she went viral because of that originally, I think. But recently she's lost a ton of weight, and it is really drawing lots of attention to her page, and she's talking a lot about it. And even me, like I've watched her more recently because she's had such a transformation. And I say that because people love and desire a healthy lifestyle. I guarantee you, every single person you know wants to feel good. Every person. So inviting them to do this with you is inviting them to a chance to change their lives. People truly want that. We are not selling makeup. We are not selling tools. We are not selling just junk. We are selling like an opportunity to truly change their life through fitness, nutrition, and community. And that is so different from every single company out there. And as I've watched Jenna Kutcher share her journey and I see all the people commenting on her stuff, I'm just reminded yet again that what we do and what we sell doesn't go out of style. Everybody wants to feel good. So that person that you are like, man, I really wish that person would work out with me or join my group, just invite them. Don't be a weirdo, but be like, hey, I'm starting a program. It's going to be so fun. And I would love to have you do it with me. We're starting on the 8th. Would you want to do it? And listen, it's okay if that person says no. One thing I was encouraged to do when I very first started coaching was to brain dump a list of people that I would love to have in my group. Just like, who would be fun to do this with? And I need to go back and update it, but I think I put like 50 people down. And the last time I looked, like 40 of them have signed up with me and been in my group. People you know and love already know, love, and trust you. So when you ask them to do something that you believe in, you know what? The very worst thing that's going to happen is they say no, but they still love you and it's okay and you can accept a no. But what might happen is you invite somebody you love and you actually see their life change. I wish I had this pulled up already. Let me see if it happens to be pulled up. But my family, just last week, I'm going to show you the side by side. It's going to take me a second, but it's going to be worth it. So, my family last week or a couple weeks ago, we took family pictures. And this is my mom. And this is a 5 or 6 year difference. The one in the stripes is 6, maybe 7 years ago. The one in the brown is my mom today. She's literally aged backwards, truly. Because 1 week, very quickly after I became a coach, we spent the weekends together, or maybe the week together. And I was like, I don't care what you guys do, but I'm going to do a workout. My mom has always been like healthy. I mean, I didn't think she was unhealthy when I asked her to work out with me. But after working out with me that week that we were together, she literally sent me a text on her way home from our time at the cabin together. She's like, okay, I want to sign up. Like, I enjoy doing that and I want to do workouts too. And she wanted to buy Shakeology because I had it with me as well. And she's been working out consistently with me for the last almost 6 years. I don't actually want to think about where she would have gotten in her health if I hadn't asked her to work out with me and if she hadn't started. Because I was brave enough to say, hey, will you guys want to work out with me? She did, and she enjoyed it. I didn't pressure her. I didn't even really ask her. I didn't actually send her a real invite. I asked her to work out with me in person. And maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to invite a family member to come work out with you at your house. Maybe you need to take your workouts to their house. Maybe you need to text two of your friends and say, hey, do you guys want to do a workout with me? Or maybe you need to make it a rhythm in your week where you actually have friends come over once a week or once a month and you just make it part of what you do to like build connection with people. Maybe you need to get out of your comfort zone and start going to a fitness class somewhere else. That way you can just meet people. And maybe those people need a solution from home. Like, just because they have something working for them doesn't necessarily mean that it's working for them every single day. And you have no idea what transitions they might go through when they need something to do at home too. Like, put yourself out there. Talk to people in real life. Don't be scared. I literally, with this family picture that we took, I looked at myself, I looked at my mom, and I looked at my sister, because all of us do Beachbody workouts and have been for the last 6 years. Every single one of us looks better now and feels better than we did when we took our last family pictures, and we're all 6 to 7 years older. And I think that is a testament to what we do. We feel good. We're doing it together. And every single person you know needs something like this. We are the only people out there doing fitness, nutrition, and community, and we do it really well. Figure out how to be excited about the groups you're running. Figure out how to be excited about your program that you're doing. That way, you're also excited to invite. It is so super important that you are in the right mindset when you get into people's inboxes, because it will be the difference between you making a sale and having them in your group and helping them experience life change, or them saying no. And people tell me no all the time. People ghost me all the time. I'm not saying that that's never going to happen. I'm just saying you will learn how to convert people into customers who feel good and value your community and what you offer. I promise. You just have to stick with it and be excited, get the results yourself, and show them what's possible. Okay? Now I'm going to go to Facebook. If you have any questions, you can drop them or unmute yourself, but I'm going to see what questions are on Facebook. Okay. So the first one is from Carissa. She said she's struggling with following up with people who ghosted her. And specifically, she was talking about people who never respond to her initial invite. And then she said she gets in her head and she thinks that people are going to be like, think that she's that girl. And Carissa, here's what I'm going to say to that is I don't put people like that on my follow-up list because I feel the same way, because I think it's true. I don't think we need to keep following up with people who ghost us over and over and over again. However, sometimes if I notice that they're continuously liking things, voting on things, and watching, I will say something bold like, hey, I see you catch my stuff all the time, or I see you vote that you want to do this with me all the time. What's holding you back from getting started, like working out with me? Something just very bold. But I'm not going to put those people on my follow-up list. I will touch base with them maybe like quarterly if I see if it's been a long time, but I'm not going to waste my time like continuing to reach out to somebody who ghosts me all the time. Katie, I hope you're here. You are here. I see you. Okay. So I actually wondered, Katie, if you were feeling like this, but here's something I heard somebody say once, and it really rings true. They were talking about how you're at a party and somebody slips away to go to the bathroom and they're gone like a long time. But everybody else is just like doing their thing at the party, and they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. I was gone for so long. I was pooping. And everybody else is like, what? Like, we didn't even realize you were gone. Like what? This is the same way. Like nobody's realized that you've taken a step back. You don't have to justify why you've been gone. You don't have to justify what's been going on in life. You can literally come back tomorrow and be like, guys, I'm not feeling my best and I'm really ready. Like, I'm going to do this program. I'm going to start on this date. I'm going to make no excuses and I want some people to do it with. Like, just be real, just be raw and get back to it in whatever capacity you want to. Nobody is going to think it's weird. You're the only one who knows how long you've been away, how inconsistent maybe you've been either on your health journey or on social media. It is not weird. Just come back tomorrow strong, and start talking about what you're going to do next. It is not going to be strange at all. Meg, bringing new eyes into your page to invite and keeping groups simple. The new eyes thing, you know what? We could talk circles around that because I think we're all there. But my best advice is to keep going, keep being consistent, keep being bold, especially Meg with your message. I think I watched your reel the other day. It was just you telling your story. I think you have to keep doing that because you have a bold, unique story. But we also can't focus on the number and the new eyes because there are a lot of people on every single one of our pages that have not signed up with us yet. And actually, Molly Asplin has a podcast this week. It's called Dream It, Do It, I think. And it was about building a business with a small following. So if you're struggling with that, you should go listen. I have started listening to it. I think it's a really, really good one. And keeping groups simple, I think honestly, that goes back to what do you need? Think about what program you need, what content you need, and what habits you need. And I think that will help you keep it simple. Ange says, no one is checking in / posting in my group. 2 suggestions if you're dealing with this. Number 1, you have to become your best challenger. Whatever you're asking your people to do in your group, you need to do it times 10. For real. You need to be so active in your group. You need to be so encouraging for the people who are checking in. Go live in your group, add new blood to your group. And if you need to, ask one of your most encouraging friends, maybe somebody who's not even connected with Body, to come into your group and just be a hype girl and check in. I did that when I very first started, and it was one of the best things I did. I just let a friend in. I was like, hey, I need you to check in and I need you to be excited with me. And it built confidence in me and other people. And she actually ended up signing up too. So it was a win-win-win in every way. I will say, I do think this is normal. I think every single coach goes through it, and you just have to keep chugging along and figure out how you can be excited and show them the way. One of my very favorite things to do is be the example with being vulnerable with where I'm in my journey. And I find that it opens the door for other people to be vulnerable too. My least favorite check-in is when somebody just puts day 1, week 1. I'm like, what do I respond to that? I don't know. Like, there's not a lot to go off of. So be the example in your check-in and say something real. Say something vulnerable about how your workout went. What did you hate about today? Or what did you love about today? What did you break through in your workout today? What did you think when the trainer said that today? Like, really get in there and think about what was going through your head. And then hopefully, as it's going to take time to keep doing that, other people will see your example and they'll do it too. And also, when you bring in new people every single month, it's an opportunity to tell them what's expected in the group. Be clear with your challengers about what you want them to do and remind them that their check-ins are powerful and they matter a lot. And then struggling to show people the value for the price. I agree with you. It is so much, and it really isn't that expensive. And Ange, I'm going to say a lot of that. I was having this conversation with somebody recently. I do think a lot of that is mindset, both for you and for the person. I do feel like that's a call, like, separate for another day, but I would say keep it simple. I've had a couple conversations recently where this same exact thing came up, and it's like, a couple coaches I've talked to are trying to oversell what it is, and it's actually running people away. You don't have to give people every single detail of what they get in their challenge pack because that's freaking overwhelming. There's so much. You don't have to tell them like a big long paragraph of what it is. I keep it so simple, you guys. because I know how I feel. I told you the story about the girl with the other company of the laundry detergent that I was actually interested in. And she gave me so much information that I ghosted her. People are doing that to you. You don't need to tell them much. I literally say you get thousands of workouts, nutrition programs, my group and me for an entire year for $200. That's what I say. And I instill belief in them that they are going to feel good and have fun while doing it. My conversations are so simple. Get them talking a lot, help them understand what they need. What are their pain points, and help them see how exactly what you have to offer solves that problem, and ask them the $1,000,000 question. If you knew for sure that you would achieve XYZ, whatever they told you that they want to achieve, would you say yes? 9 out of 10 times, they're gonna be like, of course I would say yes. And then you say, guess what? You have total control. You can do this. You can be consistent. So let's do this. It's that simple. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? That was all on Facebook. I feel like I just talked so fast. So sorry about that.